Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Team Global X's final presentation. On behalf of our team, it is our great pleasure to present to you our final research project. Our client Comcast has a growing demand for call center representatives across the globe. We were requested to identify a potential country where Comcast could outsource these services to. Our hope with this project is to guide you through the logic of our decision making. There are two major categories we need to consider. The first are the qualities a call center representative themselves must possess, and the second are the characteristics the host country must possess. We strongly believe that the workforce must have certain key characteristics in order to be considered. Given that call center representatives will be based outside the United States, they must be proficient in English and be able to communicate with a US-based marketplace. It must also be financially affordable for Comcast to hire these representatives in another country. However, call center representatives do not exist in a vacuum. The second part is the selection of the country itself. In order to pick the right country, we looked for countries that were conducive for business with regards to their political, social, and economic risks. Additionally, the countries have to have a relatively developed infrastructure so that Comcast will not need to create this from scratch. We used a four-step process for our methodology. It started by thinking big or globally, as we wanted to keep an open mind for as many countries of the world as possible. Referring back to what we learned throughout the course of the semester, we began by examining the institutional environments, and while doing this, we kept in mind that we wanted to be geographically diverse. This means looking at different regions of the world, along with areas where Comcast is and is not already established. In order to really start breaking down this large amount of data, we used numerous indexes, such as the Market Potential Index, Corruption Perceptions Index, and the Global Edge tool. These tools helped us consider the political climate, economic situation, market entry, and corruption in each country. Then we went granular, and our group chose factors that were important to us. The next few slides will help explain our internal group factors and ranking system. In the end, our methodology allowed us to eliminate countries with a small labor force, high rate of corruption, high cost of doing business, infrastructure risk, and politically unstable environments. This helped pinpoint our country of choice for Comcast. Here we list several factors our group considers important to help establish a call center overseas. We recognize that several of these criteria may be different than what Comcast considers important. However, after going through the modules in this course, these factors are some of the most important in our group's opinion. Number 1, commercial infrastructure. This is an analysis of what each country has as part of their infrastructure, such as roads and telecommunication networks. Number 2, political risk. This deals with whether each country's political climate could affect its business environment. Number 3, the labor market of skilled workers. This refers to how strong each country's labor force is and whether it could support such a business in the future. Number 4, infrastructure risks. This refers to any potential infrastructure weaknesses that could potentially affect a business in that country. Number 5, corruption perception index. This looks at the levels of corruption in each country as determined by Transparency International and their annual index. Number 6, unemployment rate. This looks at how high or how low the rate of employment is in each country. For the purposes of this project, a high unemployment rate is considered a positive factor. Number 6, English proficiency. This obviously refers to the level of English proficiency in the working population. After considering the list of factors that are important to Comcast and important to our group, we arrived at a list of 5 finalists. These countries are Poland, India, South Africa, the Philippines, and Malaysia. Some of these countries are familiar with call centers, while others are not. In addition, these countries represent a vast geographic area. As we mentioned in the prior slide, these countries offer a mix of countries where call centers are established, primarily in India and the Philippines, and countries where they are not. They also offer a broad geographic distribution as well. Each member of the group researched one country in each of the 7 categories we described in the prior slide. Another member of the group then assigned each country a rating from 1 through 4 in each category. 1 represents below average, 2 represented average, 3 above average, and 4 excellent. These scores were totaled to arrive at a composite score for each country. This internal ranking system was done to avoid any potential biases to favor one's own country we had done research on. As you can see below, the total scores for each country are listed, and Poland had the highest composite score with 21 out of 28 possible points. Poland is our country of choice for Comcast to establish a call center in. As we noted in the prior slide, Poland received 21 out of 28 possible points. The Philippines was second, South Africa third, and Malaysia and India tied for fourth among these 5 countries. Poland scored higher compared to the others with regards to commercial infrastructure, the labor market, and infrastructure stability. Poland has an advantage of being a member of the EU that helps it tremendously in these categories. While it is a member of the EU, it is not a member of the Eurozone, and this helps to decrease costs when hiring a labor force. Poland's primary disadvantage was in the category of unemployment due to its low unemployment rate. In Q3 of 2018, this was approximately 3.4% in Poland. As we mentioned at the beginning of the slide, a high unemployment rate is considered advantageous since there are more people seeking jobs. Poland ranks similarly compared to the other countries with regards to the Corruption Perception Index and English proficiency. We would like to point out, however, that Poland's current judicial crisis will need to be monitored closely, given this could impact the above-average political stability rating we have currently assigned it. This is an area Comcast will need to continue to closely monitor. We ultimately believe that Poland will be the most viable choice for Comcast's global expansion to establish a call center. Poland's primary advantages with regards to the other countries are due to its infrastructure, the political stability, and the labor market of educated workers. Poland garners many of these advantages by being a member of the EU but not of the Eurozone. This makes it financially more affordable for Comcast when hiring a local labor force without compromising on political or economic stability. Comcast's implementation plan will need to focus on certain categories including agent recruitment and hiring, training, IT operations to ensure seamless communications between Poland and the US-based marketplace, financial tracking controls, cultural conscious considerations, and future expansion. At the end, we narrowed the countries down to 1. However, we did have 4 runner-up countries, which would also be reasonable options. We thank you for your time and consideration in listening to Team Global Access presentation.